activate concept here, right? So as we discussed earlier, like basically for the SAP activate, we will have the normally six phase: discover, prepare, explore, realize, deploy, and the run. Okay, so normally as I told you earlier, like in the discover phase, nothing we have to do. That is mainly the job of the PMO team. So PMO team basically they will discuss, like basically we have to work as an implementation partner. Like implementation partner means whatever different IT companies are there, like for example Wipro, Accenture, Deloitte, IBM, Tech Mahindra. These are basically the different implementation partner companies. So generally we have to work in the implementation partner company. So whenever the implementation will started, so it will be happening in between the three entities. Okay, three entities means like we have to work as an implementation partner. That means one entity. Second entity, your customer, like who is going to adopt the Ariba solutions. And third is basically your Ariba company, like who is going to sell their product, that is the Ariba company. So always like always like mostly that Ariba implementation is happening between three entities. In certain cases you may see that two entity implementation as well. So two entity implementation means like in that case the implementation partner company will not come in the picture. So only directly the Ariba team they are implementing the SAP Ariba solutions to the customer. But as you know that Ariba company, like their fees charge is very high. So Ariba company charges are very high. So like all the customers they are not like that capable to afford like that the Ariba charges. So that is why they are taking the help of the Ariba team, like implementation partner team. Okay, so whenever like that implementation scenario cycle will be start, like first basically a customer they will like the conduct the different bidding process. They will invite the different implementation partner company stating that like we are going to implement this, we want to implement Ariba solutions. This process we are using. So all the implementation partner companies they will conduct some like the demo session with the customer. They will show the demo to the customer about the Ariba solutions, Ariba feature. And based on the customer business process, like they will try to show you some like the process cycle as well. And they will like that submit their quotation. So based on the quotation, that customer will choose the like that appropriate implementation partner company. So based on the like customer criteria, so as you know every customer have their own criteria. So based on their criteria they will choose the implementation partner company. So once they will finalize the implementation partner companies, so like so then they like they will also communicate to Ariba company as well, like we want to like implement this Ariba solutions in our system. This is our like our business process. So accordingly, like Ariba sales service team, they will also get in touch with the customer. They will follow up. They will provide like that list of the feature and benefit. They will conduct some like the calls as well, like just to explain the Ariba features and benefit like that. Okay, so these are basically not in our scope. Just I'm explaining only for your information. Nothing we have to do from our side. So once this will be done and the customer will confirm like okay now we have to start our implementation project on blah 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 date, blah blah blah, like that period. So once they will confirm about like the timeline, then basically we have to start our project. So when basically our project will be started, so first like discover page we discussed earlier. So our implementation partner companies they will allocate, they will create like one team. In team they will like include different team member, like whatever that like team member we required, like project manager, team lead, consultant, senior consultant, solution architect, or business consultant, or SAP consultant. So whatever the different teams like team member we required, so they will build up a team, and then they have to start the project. So we have to basically start with our prepare phase. So in the prepare phase, basically like we will have some set of the documentation. So we have to work on the some documentation part. We have to like that work on the like Ariba team that basically providing some list of the document to the customer, and we have to basically work on documentation part, like for example team onboarding process, or that we have to understand the customer business process. So all this activity basically we have to do in the prepare phase. So generally we have to follow the prepare phase like 1 or 2 weeks. Again, it depends on the customer business process or timeline as well. But we are following only 1 or 2 weeks as the prepare phase. So once the prepare phase will completed, then our explore phase will start, and basically explore phase is very important. So in the explore phase, basically what we have to do, we have to conduct the multiple workshop with the customer, and we have to basically explain the process in the system itself. So for example, let's say your customer is going to implement Ariba buying and invoicing. So in the Ariba buying and invoicing, whatever the process that we can do in the SAP Ariba solutions, those process we have to show in the system, like how to create PR, whatever the different information are available in the PR, what are the different additional features are available for the PR, then whatever the different options are there, how the PR will be transmitted to backend SAP system, okay, how the confirmation information will arrive to Ariba system itself, how the PR will be converted in the purchase order, whatever the features are available in the purchase order, how to perform the receipt, what are the different ways of to perform the receipt, how we can create the invoicing, what is invoice reconciliation, what is the that a remittance advice or payment advice. So all this the information we have solutions we have to basically demonstrate with our customer, and then we have to ask them like this is the out of box process. Now tell me which process you want to keep, or if they want to to enable some additional the functionality, that information also we have to collect from our customer, and then we have to basically prepare the business process design document, that is also called as a BPD, or sometimes we are calling them as a requirement design document, or we can also say that solutions adoption document as well. So in the document we have to specify all that discussion. So whatever things to be discussed with our customer, that basically we have to that include in the document along with the to be process. So overall we have to include, we have to include as is process, then we have to include the to be process, like how customer is doing as is and how it will be the to be process. So all the information we have to include in our design document, including some list different diagram, some different process flow, list of the assumptions, list of the impact, list of the that basically constant. So all the information should be there in the BPD document, BPD, or you can say requirement design document. So these documents are basically very important. So once you prepare this document, then we have to conduct a workshop with the customer. We have to explain information what we included in our document, and we have to obtain sign off from the customer. Okay, so this activity basically we have to do in the explore phase. I'm just explaining you at high level for your understanding purpose. So once you will have the sign off of the explore phase, then basically we have to move to the realize phase. So in the realize phase, basically we have to start our configuration. So whatever based on the solutions, whatever the different set of configuration we require, like from the Ariba side, from the CIG portal side, or from the backend SAP system side. So we have to basically start the configuration. So we have to perform the configuration, we have to perform the testing itself, we'll do the unit testing, we'll do the SIT as well. So first basically we have to do the testing, and based on the testing, if the process is looks good, then we have to basically conduct that workshop, and we have to walk through the process. So for example, let's say customer has requested that to implement the bank invoicing, and in the bank invoicing we have completed our one sorry, we have done our configuration. So now basically we can conduct a workshop with the customer, we can just walk through the process, like now this is the process looks like this in the system. So what basically we are doing, so before handing over for the user acceptance testing, if you will demonstrate the process, so if they have some additional requirement, or they want any changes or any that modification, so we can do at that time itself. So that is why we have to conduct that that basically the process walkthrough. Then, like if required to do any changes, any modification, then also we have to do. Otherwise, if that is okay, then basically we have to start our SIT. So SIT basically that is standing for the system integration testing, and in the SIT we have to perform like a list of the end-to-end testing. Like for example, in case of the buying invoicing, we have to start from the PR and we have to end up with the payment. So including your Ariba solutions and your backend SAP system, we have to run a complete cycle with the different scenarios. So those scenarios basically we have to prepare, that is called as a test script. So we have to prepare the different test script accordingly. We have to perform the testing itself. So after the completion of the testing, parallelly we also have to work on the document. So like we have to prepare that basically that functional design document. So this functional design document is applicable in case of the any changes, any gaps. So any gap may basically what is the customer requirement and whatever the features that is available as per standard. And if the customer requirement is not meeting with your that standard feature, and we have to do some the different enhancement or different that activities. In that case, those information we have to include in our functional design document, that is called as the gap analysis. Okay, so like this activity basically we have to do, and once your SIT1 will be completed, so again it depends on the customer cycle. So customer choice, some of the customers they are following the two SIT, like SIT1, SIT2. Some of the customers they are preferring to go with only one SIT. Some of the customers they are following three SIT, SIT1, SIT2, SIT3. So depends on the customer choice, depends on the agreed SOW. So once we'll complete our SOW, then again we have to start our that basically SIT2, and in SIT2 again we have to perform the end-to-end testing. So once all the testing will be completed, so in during SIT2, we remember we are not only doing the testing, so we are also capturing step-by-step process as well. So like let's say for example, how to we are testing that P2P cycle for the services. So now in this activity, whatever different process we are following, like create the PR with item category services, right? Add that parent item, child item, enter this information. So all the steps should be there in one template along with the screenshot. So all this activity we are doing in SIT2. Once SIT2 will be completed, then basically we have to submit it for the business, and we have to ask them to perform the SIT testing from their side as well. So they will also do some SIT testing and they will review the result, and then they will confirm like okay, now this information looks like good, and that means we have to obtain the signature from the customer side. So once that testing will be completed, parallelly we also have to work some data migration. So based on the customer requirement, if some data migration is required, like migration of the open POs, migration of the contract, so whatever data migration we required, those basically data migration plan we have to prepare. That means we have to basically work on the cutover plan. So all this activity we have to do in the realize page. So once this will be completed, then basically we have to move to deploy phase. In deploy phase, basically we have to do all the cutover activities, whatever cutover activities required, and then we have to basically move to the the go live part. So when the go live will happen, all the changes what is there in the QA side, those changes will be available in the production side, and from then it will be run. That means business will start using the Ariba solutions. So this is something just high level that process of the any of the Ariba implementation project. So if you get this question, like what was your role during your implementation? So in that case, you have to be careful while giving the answer. Okay, don't say I did this, I did this, I configured this one, I did this one. So if you say to this statement to interviewer, so he will ask, that means if you did everything, so what the other team member did, because this is not the one man show. So we have to be specific while while giving the answers during the interview. So if you are getting this question, you have to say like this: I was the part of the implementation partner team, and I was leading the Ariba BNI solutions. BNI means by invoicing solutions. So I have conducted the workshop with the customer, and I did that, like fit to standard analysis, prepare the business procedure and document, and configure some set of configuration. So whatever configuration you are aware, like approval workflow configuration or merge data upload or integration configuration. So you can list out the configuration. So perform that list of, set of the configuration in this Ariba side, backend SAP system side or CIG side. Perform the testing, unit testing, SIT testing. That means you did the testing as well. Prepare the testing document, that is your test result, or that test script. And you can say you also prepare the that requirement, functional design document. Prepare the user manuals. Conducted the workshop to train the business user to the buyer side, and perform the cutover activity in the production side.